For this mock exercise, we're going to take a look at the concept of theory of constraint and cost management. And we're going to use a case called RD Industries to highlight the theory of constraints. So let's look at the question. RD makes pharmaceutical products in two departments, mixing and tablet making. Additional information on the two departments are as follows. Each tablet contains 0.5 grams of direct material. So these are the capacity per hour. The monthly capacity is there's 2,000 available. And there's 300 grams, so that's 2,000 hours times 150 grams is 300,000 grams. And 200 tablets times 2,000 hours gives me 400,000 tablets. The monthly production is 200, but you could see that the tablet is right now at almost at full capacity. But there's room in the mixing department. So this is where the bottleneck is. This is where the problem is. Now, it says the fixed operating cost is $116,000 and $39,000 for tablet. And the fixed operating cost per tablet is $16,000 divided by 200 grams, gives you 8 cents per gram. And this one is $39,000 divided by 390 is 10 cents per tablet. The mixing department makes 200,000 grams of direct material mixtures, enough to make 400 tablets. Now remember, it takes 0.5 grams of direct material to make one tablet. So that's why they got that, right? So let me just write that down. It's going to be 200 grams of material times 0.5 to give you 400,000 tablets. And that's what this point that they're making here. Okay? All direct materials are incurred in the mixing department. RD incurs $156,000 in direct material cost, and the tablet making department manufactures 390 tablets from 200,000 grams. So there's a little bit of spoilage here. It's 2.5% direct material mixture is lost in the tablet making process. Each tablet sells for $1. So this is the sales price. All costs other than direct materials are fixed cost. The following requirements refer to the preceding data. There's no connection between these requirements. So let's look at the first requirement. It says, outside contractor makes the following offer. So somebody came to us and offered the following. If RD will supply the contractor with 10,000 grams of mixture, the contractor will make 19,500 tablets for RD, allowing the normal 2.5% loss of mixtures during the tablet making process. And the cost here is 12 cents per tablet. Should RD accept the contractor's offer? Show your calculation. So now we're going to have to figure out whether this makes sense for RD to accept. So we know that the direct materials to produce the tablet is 390,000. Sorry, 156,000. Okay. So that's where it says right here, 156,000 is the direct material cost. And how many tablets were they making? They're making 390,000 tablets, right? So that's the direct material cost per tablet. The selling price is $1 per tablet. So we need to calculate the per unit throughput contribution. And the throughput contribution equals selling price minus, so let's call that SP, minus direct material per unit, right? Selling price is $1, direct materials is 40 cents to give you 60 cents per tablet. So because tablet making is a bottleneck operation, so it's not the mixing, because we know the mixing has got room to mix, but it looks like there's no more room in the tablet making. Because tablet making is the bottleneck operation for RD, then producing $19,500 tablets. Remember the outside supplier asking us to do that? Would generate incremental income or additional income as follows. So this would be increase in operating income should equal the throughput contribution of 60 cents per tablet minus the 12 cents that's being charged by an outside supplier. And that means that we're going to get 48 cents per tablet times 19,500 tablets to give us 9,360. So this would be the additional income that is associated with getting an outside contractor and accepting their offer. So therefore, conclusion is RD should accept the contractor's offer. Now, what theory are we dealing with here? So this is called the theory of constraints. The theory of constraints describes methods to maximize operating income when faced with some bottleneck, which is the tablet making operations for RD, and some non-bottleneck operation. So when you're trying to figure out how do we maximize this operating income, we need to maximize contribution margin, and we want to minimize the amount of investment and operating costs. That's the key. So with theory of constraints, we need to figure out ways to maximize that operating income, particularly when faced with bottleneck operations. And to do that, we must try to maximize contribution and minimize investment in operating income. Now, this focuses on short-run horizon, and we assume, in this case, whenever we're dealing with a bottleneck, that the operating costs are fixed. Now, there are three ways to measure the to maximize this contribution, to maximize operating income. And the first one is throughput contribution. The second one is investment. We're trying to minimize that investment. And the third one is operating cost. And throughput contribution is defined as revenue minus direct material cost of goods. Because we know that in the short run, labor, direct labor, although it's variable, we can't really minimize that cost immediately. It's only the material that really relates to the product that we can control. With labor, irrespective of whether they're hourly wages kind of employees, we really can't afford to let them go and then rehire them when we have more work. So really the whole concept here with bottleneck is we're going to have people sit around waiting for that particular area of the operation as a bottleneck, but we're going to have to pay these people anyway because it's just a short run issue. So that's why the throughput contribution is only revenue minus direct material, something that you can control. When we're dealing with minimizing the investment, what we're trying to do is minimize the amount of direct materials, work in progress, finished goods, and equipment and building costs as much as we can. Now, one way to eliminate bottleneck is to perhaps make more products than we need to. So our production levels will be higher than what we need to so that we can stockpile these inventories. So in the months where we have high sales, we don't, and of course we have that bottleneck, we're able to still generate and sell to our customers. So the idea here is we're trying to minimize the amount of investment. So one way to avoid the throughput is to increase the amount of inventory, but of course that doesn't allow us to maximize operating income. So that's the key. And of course, operating costs, you want to try to minimize all of those costs other than direct material. So in this case, you'll see that because the tablet making is the bottleneck in this case, is the area of concern in this case, then we need to figure out whether accepting that external contractor's price of 12 cents per tablet does not make sense. Well, we know that fixed cost is not relevant. Fixed cost is not going to be relevant because this is only for short run, and irrespective, we're still going to incur these fixed costs anyway. So really the only one that we have able to control is the direct material. So we had to calculate the direct material per tablet, calculate the per unit throughput contribution, which in our case is 60 cents per tablet. And because tablet making is the bottleneck, producing 19,500 is we need to be able to see what incremental income that's going to generate. Well, it's going to be the throughput contribution of 60 cents minus the charge from the outside supplier times 19. That's going to be the positive impact of the contribution or the operating income to Artie, and therefore Artie should accept the special contractor's offer. Now let's look at the second part of the required. The second part says another company offered Artie to prepare 2,000 grams of mixture a month. So now they're asked, another company came in and said, hey, we can mix this stuff for you. Okay? And for a month for direct materials for Artie supply, the company will charge 7 cents per gram of mixing. Should Artie accept the company's offer? Show your calculation. Well, remember, the operating cost for the mixing, so the mixing is not where the bottleneck is. So we've got room to mix. And because fixed cost is fixed, because operating cost in mixing department are fixed cost, then contracting it out the mixing process will not reduce the fixed cost. In fact, what will happen, it will actually increase by 7 cents per gram of mixture. Okay, mixing department is not the bottleneck. And already has enough grams of mixing material that by outsourcing it, it doesn't really make sense for Artie. Okay? So really the outsourcing is only in the area where there's a bottleneck. Number 3 says Artie's engineers have devised a method that can improve the quality in a tablet mixing department. They estimated 10,000 tablets currently being lost would be saved. So now we're able to actually produce more. Modification would be $7,000 per month. The question is, does it make sense to improve the quality and spend $7,000? Does it make sense? Okay, so let's take a look at the analysis. So for number 3, the cost to modify is $7,000, right? The additional revenue is $10,000, which is $1 times 10,000. Now, direct material, there'll be nothing, right? Because we would have incurred it anyway. We would have incurred that because that was part of that normal process of losing 2.5% of the loss of mixture during the making of the tablet making form. So to me, that direct material is not relevant. Fixed cost is not relevant. So if I look at this, the fact that it's only going to cost me $7,000 to modify, that's an outflow, but I'm going to actually have enough $10,000 to sell for $10. The answer is there is a positive incremental income of $3,000, and therefore Artie, conclusion is Artie should implement the new method. And that makes sense, right? See, direct material, you would say, well, why don't we include the 40 cents? Well, the 40 cents would have been incurred anyway at the mixing department level. Because to make that many units, we're going to lose out on that 2.5. So it's not relevant, nor is the fixed cost of the department, the operating cost. So to me, the only comparison you need to make is the loss of revenue as opposed versus the cost to modify. Now, in item number 4, what is it asking us? Item number 4 says, suppose that Artie loses 10,000 gram in mixture in the mixing department. These losses can be reduced to 0 if the company is willing to pay $9,000 per month in quality improvement methods. Should Artie adopt the quality improvement methods? Okay, so let's take a look at this analysis. So, number 4, the cost of quality improvement is $9,000. So we're going to try to compare what is the positive benefit. The benefit from better quality mixing is what? Well, what is the cost per gram of mixture? Well, we know the cost was $156,000, and we used 200,000 grams, right? So 156, they incur 156, and we produce 200,000 grams. Remember, fixed cost is not relevant here, you guys. These fixed costs are not relevant because we're dealing with it with a short-term perspective. And that is 78 cents per gram. And if we're going to save 10,000 of that, gives me 7,800 per month. Now, since cost exceeds benefit, the answer is should not accept, right? So we should not accept because the cost is greater, 9,000 is greater than 7,800. Now let's look at the last question. What are the benefits of improving quality in the mixing compared with improving quality of the tablet making department? So really what we're asking is compare the answers from item number 3 okay, and item number 3, if you remember, we're going to improve the tablet making, so that gave us a positive benefit, and item number 4 was improving the mixing department, which gave us a negative 1,200, right? So you could see that the benefit of improving the quality of the tablet, i.e. the bottleneck operation, is the savings of the material plus the additional throughput contribution from higher sales. Okay, and you can see that this is actually not saving the company any money. Okay, thank you.